If you own a property in your own personal name, can you transfer it to your own limited company? Now that's a really good question, really common question actually, because a lot of landlords feel that they can save money, save on tax and make more profit if their property or properties are owned by a limited company. Now that can be true, but it can also be untrue because it's a bit of a headline really, and a lot of people don't look too far into it. They just see that they can save tax as a limited company, so therefore they buy properties as a limited company. So there are some things that you definitely need to consider if you're thinking that it would be better if your properties are owned by a limited company and you currently own them personally. Number one is that you and your limited company are two completely separate entities. So if you wanted to transfer between one and the other, then technically your limited company would need to buy that property from you as an individual. That means your limited company is going to pay stamp duty at the full rate as well. Plus, you're going to have to pay legal fees too, because it is just like any other sale. It's one entity buying a property from another entity. Doesn't matter whether it's your own limited company, doesn't matter whether it's you that owns it personally and you're selling it to your own limited company. There are no breaks. It's a quick win for the government. They make loads of money and everybody's happy, or not. The first thing to remember is that if you are going to transfer a property you own personally into your own limited company, then your limited company is going to have to buy it, and therefore your limited company will pay stamp duty and legal fees. Number two, you may well pay capital gains tax because you're selling the property. So if you bought the property for £100,000 and now it's worth £250,000, then technically you have made a gain on that property. So you could be liable for capital gains tax. So make sure you speak to an accountant who will help you calculate what gain you will make and how much tax you're likely to pay. Now you can go into more detail with that because you can offset some of the costs of making that capital gain. There are so many different things to take into account. So speak to an accountant. If you want to speak to my accountant, I'm happy to connect you. Just email me, tom@soanegroup.co.uk, and I will just connect you personally with my accountant to have a chat. No charge, of course. And number three, the final thing to remember is it might not be beneficial. Once you've paid stamp duty, once you've paid legal fees, once you've paid capital gains tax, you might be thinking that you're going to save some money on tax, but you might not be saving as much as you think. Now, if you're building a portfolio of properties in a limited company, it might be a different consideration, but try to talk to an accountant and work out what tax you're going to pay if you keep it as a personal owned property versus what tax you'll pay if you transfer it to a limited company. Work out the costs of doing all these things that I've just suggested here and see if it's more profitable or not. If it's not, don't do it. Just keep it as a personal property. Now, there are some other things to consider, of course. There's liability, there's other risks, there's all sorts of things, depending on what your strategy is or what your goals are. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not an accountant or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I know. So make sure you speak to the right people. I can't stress that enough. And I know everybody says that, but it's so serious. You just need to speak to the right people. Now, it goes without saying, if you want to become a customer of mine, then please do. If you don't want to become a customer of mine, I just want to make sure that you get it right and you're doing the best that you can do without being a customer of mine. What does my company do? So I've got a lettings management agency down on the South Coast. I have an estate agency down on the South Coast. I've got a mortgage broker that's national. So if any of those companies can benefit you in any way, then please get in contact. You can email me, tom@soanegroup.co.uk. You should know that by now, I hope. Or I'm also running a landlord rescue service. What does that mean? It means if you're a landlord and you're having a problem with a tenant, you need some help, you need some advice, you need to use some resources of mine, some contacts of mine, you need some document templates, or you need some solutions or strategies in one way or another, then that is a free service to you. You can contact me, use the same details, and I will either advise you or I will connect you. So hopefully that helps. If not, then good luck. Hope everyone succeeds. Speak to you soon.